Welcome back to Calhoun Falls. This is episode 13, and I'm Joe still. So last episode we built this Hadron Collider and a lot of this farmland. I think I want to continue some farmland, mostly like over here, down here, ish in this area, you know, kind of in this block and this block. But something I would like to do is I would kind of like to make some like suburban sprawl type of things in this block. And I also want to I want to take this tram line and I want to pull it out to about here, where I would like to build this space center. And that's the main thing I want to do with this little block down here. And I think that I might want to make this little nugget down in that region, kind of like the end of the tram line, and basically a big like strip mall viewing area for the space center. So let's go ahead and pop down that space center. And it looks pretty cool. It's got a parking lot, so that's good. And we're getting employees for it, so that's good. And the first thing I am going to do in this episode is we might build a parking lot in this area depending on how much parking is needed versus what they have over here. The entrance is a little bit funny, but that's okay. And it looks like we have our first launch too, and that one is going to Stratford, but I don't know. I don't know how it decides where the rockets actually go, and it launches them very frequently. So yeah, here we have the Space Center. But yeah, I am now going to put in those extra farms, I think, where I want them. And I'm gonna pull out the tram line and start building this little business area down here. So I'll cut back in when we're ready to do that. Okay, I wanted to cut back in here to say that I have put in some of the farmland. This is livestock. Hasn't employed anyone yet because I kept the game on pause. And these two are for lumber. I put in a bunch of trees here. If you didn't know this, you can just plant the trees there and they have wood on them, right? And as long as there's not too much pollution right there, which for the wood there's not. For the animals there is, but I don't think they care. But as long as the wood doesn't get too polluted, you know, you get a lot of wood in this area, and so if you just plant the trees, you can just then zone in a lumberjack area around them, and it'll just give you the wood. So you don't actually have to put them up on a naturally grown forest. You can just plant the trees yourself. Anyway, so yeah, that kind of brackets our field with the large Hadron Collider in it, and then we have this big, you know, highway intersection area here. So I think that area looks pretty reasonable. You know, it kind of looks like this area, industrial area, was starting to develop, and then it bought out some of this farmland, and then a bunch of, you know, science agency bought this thing, and they kind of started to develop over here with this commercial area. And I'm going to put a little bit of commercial area along this street, because that's now where the tram goes, so it goes from our thing over to here, and I'm debating whether we should put in another tram stop, like right here in the middle. I think that it's probably a good idea to do that, but it may not be necessary as well. Our tram stops are reasonably far apart here, so that distance is roughly the same as this distance. This distance is a little longer, but you know, even if we had another tram stop over here, I don't really think that all the low-density households in this area would mind going to this business district to get on the tram or to over here. So I think it should be fine. I don't think we need a tram stop right here. So the thing I want to do with this other tram, this one, that is our northern route that goes along the highway, is to kind of make that tram go up across the highway and sort of end like somewhere around here in our, like the area that we're going to put in a lot of suburbs in. So I kind of like it if that tram went there. And, you know, I can put a parking lot next to that tram to make it like that. And that is to say, I don't really know if this line actually needs to continue to be along this area. I put in a lot of these row houses so that the tram could service this area and have sufficient ridership to justify its cost. And it has a little bit. Its line usage is about 20 to 30% currently. So I think that that's probably reasonable, right, for this area. And if we were to make it longer, to make it go up in this area, I think that that would benefit the tram, and I think that that's what I want to do. So this tram is going to kind of continue on, stop here to service all these people, and then this tram is going to turn at this street probably, go back up across the highway, and then go somewhere in this area. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Now the next thing I want to do is to zone in the rest of this business area. I put in the framework here, and I put in just a few businesses to see how it would look. So here's our tram stop. We have a parking lot in here, and we also have a dog park to kind of center this area around. So I'm just going to go ahead and zone in a whole bunch of this area. I mathed it out, and that's why I put in these ones in the middle so that these other ones could fully utilize the space. And in this area, I think I want to put in another little beachfront. So I'm going to go ahead and build that beachfront, and we'll be right back. All right, we're just coming back in here. I have built in that beachfront, and I let the rest of this commercial area run for a little bit. I did notice that I built this beachfront directly under the exhaust channel for the rocket launch platform, which is a little unfortunate, but if you see the rocket actually launch, none of the actual superheated exhaust gases that would on a real rocket launch, they don't actually come out of this hole, but it's still potentially not. This is not how you would actually build this beach in real life, but it's also not how you would build this channel in real life if you were going to do that. If you were going to build this in real life, you would not have this channel vent right this way. You would have it vent perpendicularly, and you would simply build the launch platform so that that vented out into the river here. Anyway, so there's your dose of unreality video game style for today. I also built in a bunch of these, a little bit more of this commercial area here, and I think that this is pretty much how I'd like to end the commercial area, because we don't have a ton of public transit coming right into here. We really just have this one tram line coming from here, and other than that, this is a large hub with much intercity travel and tram traffic, but this is all going to be low density. And I did zone in more of this low-density households into this area. So these guys are up on a big cliff, just for reasons. And I'm going to put in a bunch of trees in this area to make it look nice. Like I did with these roads here, I decided to take all those roads we built in the last episode and upgrade them with median with trees. So I think that looks really nice, and it's doing quite well. So that's good. And the next thing I want to do is build in our suburb area here with a bunch of cul-de-sacs, and fill in maybe, I don't know if I want businesses up in this area. Actually, I kind of don't think I do. I put in a little bit of business right here and right here. But I think I really want these people to go down here for business and over here for business. So I don't think we need any more commercial buildings in this area. I think I want this to be, a bunch of single-family homes. So I'm going to go ahead and zone that in, and we'll cut back when that's done. So welcome back to Calhoun Falls. This is the neighborhood that I made here. It's very organic-looking, suburbia-looking. It has a lot of cul-de-sacs. And I've gone ahead and forested it in so that when we build these houses here, which I'm just going to do now, and this is going to be super duper easy because we're literally just going to do this and then let them build it. So that's going to be how our neighborhood works. There aren't going to be any services there. I'll put a park. I will go ahead and put a large city park here, I think, in the middle of it somewhere. I don't quite know where, so they don't need very much entertainment, so I might go ahead and put this city park in, like, I don't know, here-ish, right? So, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we'll rezone these people's houses. So that looks decent. This area doesn't really need that much entertainment, like park-wise, but I think we will want another park, circa here-ish, just for reasons that this area is a little more densely populated, and I think that will work pretty well. So that should be good. Our garbage service is running well. These people are a little low on healthcare, so I might end up putting a small little, like a mini medical clinic near this area, but I don't really think we need it. And we are running a little low on death care, so what I might do is plop in a cemetery right down here, and I should have thought about that before I zoomed in all these streets, but yeah, so we'll find a different place to put the cemetery, maybe. But I think that's a decent looking neighborhood. It looks kind of chaotic, very suburban, so that's good. A lot of the trees kept, so that's also good. I did put in this very large parking lot right here, and another thing that I did is I decided that I didn't really want this tram line going up there, and instead what I've done is I think I'm actually just going to extend this train line up to here. So I'm going to put a train line, I'm going to have like one stop here-ish, probably in the middle, and I'm going to do like a lot of suburbanization and make it look like this all up in this area. So people will drive to the train station, and I put in a very large parking lot here for like this bus station and this medium train station is like a drive to it and a park and ride type of parking lot. But we'll see how much that actually helps. I don't know how much it will help because I don't know how, we'll have to see how the simulation goes, I think, for this one, but that'll be a business. But yeah, so this is our new neighborhood, and I think let's make this area into a district right after I put in some more housing in this area. And the cool thing that's going to happen is I am also going to turn that road into a parking alley. So let's upgrade that like that. It's almost done. So we're going to have these people try again, and they don't want to, so we're just going to do that. And then if people want to build along this, they will, and they do, so that's fine. And then we're going to go ahead and zone this area also as residential. We'll take up those spots pretty quickly. So yeah, that's our new neighborhood. Primrose End, it bleeds a little bit into that, and let's make that new district. Just follow the boundaries for Primrose End and our other district, right? Like this. So we'll also include this business area here in our district, and we'll go right along the waterfront we made. So that is called Hillside Brook, which I think is fine. We currently have 800 people living in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this I would make this a gated community, except I don't want to make this area into a gated community, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add speed bumps and may ban heavy traffic from this area. I don't know about the banning heavy. I think it would be good to ban heavy traffic right there, because I don't really want the trucks to get off of the, to take this road here. I'd like the trucks to remain on the highway and get off where they're needed. So that is also something that I'm going to do. So yeah, that's our new district. And I think that our Space Center area here is looking pretty decent. It's a, it's a low density business area. And having zoned in all of this space right now in this tile-sized area should help our residential buildings unlock. So we're almost at the second low-density housing building. And I did unlock a bunch of these signature buildings here. I got this rock musician mansion unlocked, and the film actor mansion and the painter mansion is not unlocked. But I unlocked a few of these buildings just by putting stuff in. So that's going pretty well. And yeah, I think that what we will end up doing, the reason that I want to make this all into a low density area is so that I can unlock a lot of these buildings. They take a lot of cell zoning in, at least for the low density buildings, to actually unlock them. So I think that maybe that is something that I would want to work on in future episodes. And I think maybe the next couple episodes is trying to put a lot of low density out in this area. Having a look at our production tab over here, we are actually just behind on chickens. So we've caught up with our chicken production, we've caught up with our carrot production, we're caught up with most of our production except for wood and oil. And the other signature buildings that we have yet to unlock are the mining area, the forestry, and the oil, and then these two ones that require technical universities and medical universities. So I wanted to put all these signature buildings kind of around here in a row near to our train station that we have right there. So I think that's very good. Actually, in the next episode, that's what I think I would like to do, is to zone in some of those things and plop down those buildings. But right now in this episode, I just realized that this district over here needs a firehouse. So I'm going to put in a firehouse really quick. I think it'll go right up here. And so actually the next thing I'd like to do in this district, or in this episode, is to unlock the rest of those special industry buildings. So we have some oil up here, and I think that that's going to be a good area to mine oil. And we also have some stone and rocks over here. We don't have a ton of oil on this map, but we have a little bit. This also is a good area for oil, because our air pollution is being blown off the map over here in this like caldera-looking area. So I think that would be interesting for oil and also some rocks. So that's an oil node that we're going to take. I don't think we're going to take this oil node, but I do think that we're going to take this oil node, especially because our wind really isn't doing anything right there. So I think it should be fine to take. Yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do in this episode is, we do have a lot of offshore oil, but we don't have access to, because they haven't been released yet, I think, we don't have access to those offshore oil drilling platforms. And this oil we're going to not get, because that's where we wanted to put our big main downtown big skyscraper area. So yeah, the rest of this episode I'd like to put in this oil area. And I think this is also around where I'd like this highway to come up and connect to. So I'm going to build in that highway. I'm just going to make it a ground level highway. I don't think we need to sink it by 30 feet in the ground or do anything special like that. So I'm going to put in this highway, and that's going to be the outside border for that suburb region. And then after I put that in, I'm going to make that oil area, and then we'll end the episode. So cool, I'll cut back in when we've got that highway built. Okay, so I've gotten that other highway backbone in, and I think that gives us a good amount of area to expand our suburbia population. And so the next thing I'm going to do to start accessing this oil reservoir is to put in this half cloverleaf intersection roughly here. So that's what I'm going to do. And this area is largely going to abandon the grid system that we've made down in this area because it's going to be, very suburban and stuff like that. But my goal is for our grid system to remain largely the same, despite whatever goes on with the highway. So I'm going to put in that cloverleaf and I'm going to start zoning in that oil area. Coming back in here to Calhoun Falls, I wanted to show everybody this little road hierarchy for this area that I have made. We have this large 6-lane road connecting this highway intersection to that highway intersection that I built. It's one of these little trumpet roundabouts that I modified to because there's a big slope here and we had to give it a lot more space to actually do that slope. The other one, we have our half cloverleaf. I changed it a bit here so our oil is more uniformly in that area, so we can build off some more oil platforms here and have them be a larger total lot size. And I know you can just kind of place down 10 oil platforms. If you place down 10 oil, industry area nodes with no land area associated with it, you will get the oil special production building. So that's also an easy way to do it if you're in a map without very many, without a lot of oil space in it. Like this one doesn't have too much actual space for the oil resource. We really just had this little node here and these little bits here and some more scattered pockets down here. So there's not a ton of oil on this map in general, I believe. Anyhow. But yeah, we've got a bunch of oil here. And so we're going to go ahead and build up that thing. But I also built this little thing up here, and this is not an intersection, this just crosses the highway. And the reason is because this is going to be a lot of specialized industry up here, mainly I think forestry and probably some ore for this area up here on this side of the map. This area inside of here is going to be suburbia. I think this is going to be some more, farmland if we need it. So I think this will be kept aside for farmland if we want. And this in here will be for our people to live in. So this might be a little industrial area, and we might have to put an office park along this side to stop the pollution from leaching over, but we'll figure it out. And so yeah, so that should be good. I also put in this train station right here, so I have this medium train station with the upgrades, and I have that one passenger train running that goes through that Primrose End main hub station that we have there. So it'll go through there, and then continue on the rest of its route. I don't know how many of these people will be using the airport, but I think, have to add some more bus lines perhaps into a little transit center in this area. I put this large city park right here, but I might actually put in a slightly larger bus station, a little one of where is it? This. I might put in a small bus station near here as well, possibly right over here in this area. I could put it here if I moved the train station over a bit more, but I think maybe somewhere here might be a little better, just as a spot for this bus station. I could also change the park around and put it in here, but I think I actually really like this large city park being here. Anyway, this is going to be our little transit hub for this region, and I'll have some buses running along most of these larger streets. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is finally build that oil industry out, and I'm pretty much just going to plop down the hub buildings, and I'll see you then. So to finish off today's episode, I have built in our oil mining area, and I put in a bunch of ones over here, enough to get us our vehicle factory, which is very large. And I also zoned in a bunch of industry over here in this region, and this will also give us 10% oil deposits. I don't exactly know what this means. However, I think it means it gives our existing oil deposits in the city plus 10% density, right? Whatever density means. So we can see our oil is, 10,000-ish over here, 9,000-ish, 8,000-ish. And over here, where we built our first 3 little bits of oil, it was about 5,000, 6,000, 4,000, and they were complaining about having a lack of natural resources with a 38% decrease to our efficiency. My thought is that when I place this thing down, it will increase the density of natural resources in this oil deposit, and that will make this negative 38% be less of a drain on the building's efficiency. So I want to see this negative 38%, I want to see this number go down, right? So I think that maybe it'll go down by like 5 or 10% or something like that, and that will maybe go down to like 30% or so. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we are going to see what this actually means. Now the oil factory is really big, so I am going to put it way the heck over here, and it claims to not have pedestrian access, which I don't know if that's actually a problem or what. So, tell you what, I'm going to do a little bit of terraforming here too. I'm going to level our terrain just enough so that we can put a couple of roads just right along here. And I'm going to do that and then up like that. And I'm just going to road right around this thing here. And we have to flatten a little bit more. That's okay. No big deal. We will, of course, smooth this back out later, but hopefully doing this will make it say that it... Okay. So that's not quite doing what we want. So I'm going to mess with this a little bit, and I'll cut back in temporarily. My thought is that the pedestrians should come in over here, but maybe that's not quite the case. And usually that's actually due to the slope being too steep over here, and so the sprite gets messed up. So I'm going to try and take care of that. Quick cut. Okay, so I've gotten the vehicle factory put in here. What I did is I put down this street and I just offset this a little bit back from this main road, which is probably a bit of a better idea in any sense. So I don't think it'll be very hard to get to from these things here. And we still have this tram stop right here. So this is easily accessible by public transportation still. And it's on the edge of the map. We had no space. So I went ahead and I did this. I also zoned in some more industry right around here and in these areas. Looks like we are having a little bit of a lack of labor warning right now because our unemployment is at like 1.4. And the most open jobs that we have appear to be about 400 in highly educated and about 3,000 or so in the poorly educated category. So maybe those people will get jobs and our unemployment rate will go down. But I kind of wish that you could see the unemployment rate like by education level. I mean, you can kind of see it using a number of these factors. Like we have a lot, our educated, well-educated, and highly educated places are pretty full. So actually our well-educated, we also have a deficit of about 3,000 people. So it's saying that we have enough educated people and enough highly educated people, but we don't really have enough well-educated people. Now that number will go up over time, the well-educated, because that pink bar is for people who have gone to college, and we've got our college here. It's got about 3,000 students in there. So I looked up a little bit about how the game determines who goes and gets a job and who goes to college. So it says it does it based on like the economic incentive it is for the person. So you would think with more educated jobs being open, that would incentivize people to go to college more for these well-educated jobs. But having 6,000 open jobs is, I think, decent. And when you zone in more people initially, like we're going to in this area, most of them will come in being uneducated, right? And so if we look at our education here, a lot of these people on average are reasonably highly educated. We have a bit of a deficit on elementary school, allegedly, but this is just because A, children get born, and B, people come into the city, I think, largely being uneducated. So I think we should put another elementary school here-ish to handle this population. Probably I'll put it up here and knock down some of these homes to accommodate that. So I am going to go ahead and do that. But anyway, now that we've placed that one down, I believe that will be pretty much the end of this episode. And thank you for watching Calhoun Falls, episode 13, I believe this was. And I hope that you all have a good day. Bye.